Hey everyone, welcome back to Nutrition Made Simple, a video series that we created that takes a look at ideas surrounding natural health topics, and then we break them down into easy to understand and actionable steps. My name's Brian Strickland. Again, here with me is Ed Jones. He is the founder and owner of Nutrition World. And for February, we're continuing our trend of talking about topics that have to do with cardiovascular health or heart health in honor of American Heart Month, which is, of course, in February. And today we are speaking about exercise in particular, exercise that can help strengthen the heart. And I think a lot of people assume that running or jogging is automatically the best, but we want to make an argument against that. And Ed's got some really great reasons for that as well. So let's go ahead and get right into it, Ed. We wanted to jump right off the bat, and you say that jogging and running isn't actually the best thing that you can do for your cardiovascular health. Why is that?
One is I've connected the dots of tens of thousands of people as I observed, watched blood work, listened to people, watched them age, and we find that despite the magic potion recipe in the 70s and 80s and 90s of go out and jog and run and do lots of treadmill and be extremely active on a cardio type of basis, and there's a place for that. There's no doubt. I'm not denying that there's some benefit to it. But when you don't arrange your exercise program with another type of exercise, which is more of a weight training kind of core focus, what happens with too much cardio? One is the correlation that I had started to see about 20 years ago is AFib. Mm-hmm. Atrial fibrillation is not a pleasant diagnosis to have, and a lot of endurance athletes get AFib past 45 years old. It has to do with the malfunction of the electrical system of the heart. It can devastate your quality of life. One. Two, many people who train very hard with cardio exercise raises their cortisol too much. What is cortisol? It's a stress hormone. Too much exercise produces too much stress. The right amount lowers your stress. What happens with too much cortisol? Fat gain and muscle loss. It's just like prednisone, except it's made in our own body. So we lose about 1% to 2% of muscle per year after the age of about 35. And if we don't weight train, running and cardio and treadmills will not preserve that muscle mass, and it doesn't protect your bone mass on women especially who may have a tendency for osteoporosis. So it's just not what we used to think it was, and I think there are better choices to make as we age.
Yeah, and I think before we get to those better options, we need to talk about that. Doing something is better than nothing every time, right?
Absolutely, Brian. And they've done a lot of research on something that has to do with the term inactivity, and they've actually done a lot of blood work on people before and 4 hours later after they've sat on a couch, and their blood work actually is tending to very unhealthy levels of inflammation and other things, and it could be devastating in a long-term role. Right. And so I'm know that we have to have exercise, one, but it needs to be the right kind, and it needs to be intense. No matter what happens, you can't just check the box off like a lot of people do. I've been in a gym for 55 years, and a lot of people, it's just that slow little pace in the gym, the treadmill, even weight training, and we need to up that game a little bit, because pushing the body to a position of almost being threatened, which means that it's once in a while you have to push it to a limit, that strengthens the body. Whatever doesn't kill you in excess will strengthen you in moderate amounts if you go there, and that's what we need with any exercise program.
Yeah. So on that topic, you mentioned the high intensity workouts. Obviously, HIIT workouts have been really popular over, I don't know, maybe the last 5 or 10 years. But what is it about that high intensity, and what kind of time lengths are we talking about with that high intensity workout?
Well, I feel like I'm pretty much close to a high-intensity workout. What that means for me, and I think what it should mean for others, that this is if you're you don't do this on day one. You'd be so sore you couldn't get out of the bed. You need to be smart about it. You need to gradually work up. And at first, there's nothing wrong with slowness, even on the treadmill. But your goal is to get to a point with weight training where your rest in between sets is between 1 and 2 minutes. That gives you some cardio in weight training along with you build your bone mass, you build your muscle mass. When we do testing at Nutrition World on people with our very expensive Sika machine, it's very obvious that people continue to lose the muscle mass no matter what their exercise is, unless it's high intensity weight training. And so it's just the perfect combination is doing some cardio with a lot more high intensity weight training. Again, pushing yourself to that limit every now and then is vitally important. And one of my little cliches I came up with about 20 years ago is for people who are like, I just don't know if I can, get in a routine. Well, we have to somehow set ourselves up for success. And to do that, you got to have a plan. And so my plan used to be, now I don't do it now, I do more than I probably need to do. But when you wake up in the morning, you say to yourself, did I work out yesterday hard? If you can answer the question yes, then you have an option. Today could be your off day, or you could go back in and work out again. If your answer is I did not work out yesterday, no matter what is involved in your life, because life's going to give you a reason every day not to show up. But if you didn't work out yesterday, you get in that gym and you do something, and you do it even if it's for 20 minutes, you do it hard. You don't go in there and just dilly-dally around.
All right, so let's break it down into two different scenarios. Say that I'm first-time exerciser or looking to exercise for the first time in a long time. And then the second scenario would be somebody that frequents the gym that is actually looking to increase their cardiovascular health. What are the main exercises and what advice would you give those two different people?
Well, someone who's new to the gym, I really do encourage them to start slow. You would never go in with high intensity or you'll pay too heavy of a price. And we don't want to injure ourselves. The body needs to become accustomed to it. So, yes, you would go in, and I'm a big fan of personal trainers. If you find a real quality one, there's no doubt they have a great value in our planting the seeds and putting together a program. But you don't have to. There's a guy on YouTube named Frank Medrano. Love his online workouts, and you can certainly do it on your own. But going into the gym, just doing some basic stuff the first month, doing some treadmill at modest speeds, and then going through a small weight program of either asking somebody or you focus on each body part. What are those? You do a couple sets for chest, a couple for shoulders, a couple for bicep, a couple for tricep, some for legs, and some for back. That is the whole body, basically, and then you do abs. So that would cover everything. Now, I don't do that all in one day. I only do 2 body parts per day. Not that I've written the rule book, but if I do 3, it's just too much. So whatever day I'm coming in, I will just kind of on my planner, I'll say, well, like today I did chest and shoulders. Well, tomorrow I'll do something else. I'll do back and bi. So we can overtrain very easily if you don't watch it, if you're pushing it.
Right.
So, a new beginner, we start slow on everything, but within 3 months, you need to step it up with discipline, intensity, and regularity in order for cardiac health. But the thing about this high intensity is it's going to give you a more sculptured physique. It's going to make you burn body fat. It's going to help you not only be healthier, feel better, be stronger, be more functional, and like most of us, we want to look better too.
And what about the person who is a regular gym goer but is really wanting to focus really on that cardio health and strengthening their heart? What advice would you give them?
Well, you can do it actually entirely with weight training as long as that rest period is between 30 seconds and a minute to a minute and a half, because your heart rate's going to be up there if you're pushing 8 to 12 reps and you're really got the weight set right so that maybe by rep 9, you're really having to struggle. You put that weight down and you rest 45 seconds and then you get back on it, you're going to be huffing and puffing.
Yeah.
Equal or better than being on that treadmill, because the treadmill, unless you're really pushing it, you're not going to achieve the cardiac health that you could, in my opinion, with doing it this way. And secondly, with the treadmill, you're not going to be building bone mass or muscle mass. You're going to be losing it, actually, if you do too much.
Yeah. Well, there you go, everyone. We hope this was helpful. The important thing that we want you to take away from this is doing something is always better than nothing.
Yes.
So whether that's yoga or gardening or walking around your neighborhood after a meal, all of those things can definitely help your cardiovascular health, and that's what it's all about. So we hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for tuning in. Of course, if you ever have any comments or questions, you can leave those below. Like and subscribe for more content just like this each week, and we'll see you next time on Nutrition Made Simple.
Thank you.